Hey, welcome back to Wednesday's live on my YouTube channel. Last week I actually think I screwed up half of the video. I have to see if I have it in one of my digital cameras. I tend to forget the 30-minute span and reset my cameras. But bueno, it's what it is. I'll try to see if I can upload it this weekend and upload this one too. I leave them on Instagram too if you guys want to see it later and join the live chat. But I'm going to start with, for example, I contacted Kodak this week to see about the Ektachrome. There's no news on that. They're still not going to say anything. So I'm guessing the fourth quarter, as they said, they would come out with the slide film. And for now, that's going to be the news for that. Opa. Sorry. It's just, I'm going to end up screwing something up. So yeah, there's no news on Kodak. They're also new 55. I did the news. I haven't had time to edit them. They'll be up this weekend too. But basically, Kodak, no news. New 55, there's not a lot of news. And I've had a few people ask me, there's someone's going to join us later on the Instagram about a Pentax that got, his camera gear got stolen on an airplane. And he's going to ask for some Pentax gear he wants to buy. Maybe you guys can help him too. But yeah, I'm going to start with a few questions from Svein, who very nicely wrote me an email today. And he told me to talk, first the question, I'm going to say all of them unless you guys stop me with some other questions. He says, can I talk about different types of photography paper? For instance, name a paper that is good for one-time print without all that much manipulation. For gifts, New 55 pulled the plug. So what, they stopped their thing? I'm going to check it out. Kickstarter New 55. Let me see. Ooh, New 55. I'm such a mess at Google. Oh, they canceled it. Oh, wow. Okay, 2 hours ago. I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so Svein was asking about different kinds of photography paper. One for like a quick prints to give to family, friends, and some that you're doing, for example, for a gallery, or you maybe want to sell fine art prints or something like that. He says to talk about FOMA or Ilford. I print on Ilford film, so I'll talk about Ilford. What I do is I use RC paper for prints that I'm going to give, like postcards or quick prints or contact prints and stuff like that. And if I'm going to be developing onto paper that's going to go on my wall, or I'm going to sell, which I've never sold, but if I would ever sell, or a gallery or something like that, I use Ilford multi-grade fiber-based warm tone. To me, it's been the one that I like the best, and it's the one I've chosen to go with. The person that taught me the little bit I know about darkroom uses that paper, and I think that's why I went with it, because it looked so good in his prints. And the RC paper, I use Ilford Pearl, which is the finish. Multi-contrast or multi-contrast. Sorry, I'm thinking about the New 55 thing. Svein, can you send me the email they sent you so I can maybe talk about it, please? And so yeah, I use RC Pearl from Ilford for quick prints and stuff. I mean, not having a lot of manipulation is very based on the user. Like, I will dodge and burn pretty much the same on a small print that I will give to my family than a big print that I would put on a wall. Depending on what developer and combination you use, I have found the formula that works for me for less work in the darkroom. Like, I like my prints a bit more contrasty, so that's what I was doing. Is I did HC 110 because the D7611 was giving me very flat negatives that I was having to work more. Hi Yashika, TLR 635. I actually have one to test soon. And then the RC paper, I do the same. So I dodge and burn. But those, especially if they're small, I don't have to work that much onto those small prints when doing dodging and burning. So yeah, I'll still work on them either way. Then he asked me, can you explain multi-grade paper versus non-grade? Or it's more like graded paper. I have a color head with yellow and magenta. How much can I manipulate? So this is basically multi-grade paper. Let me write multi-grade paper, Ilford PDF. Basically, papers are divided in two kinds. You've got graded paper that comes with a contrast already set by the factory. The manufacturer makes it a grade 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think you have up to 4 anymore. I think most papers nowadays are all multi-grade. But if you get 1 grade, it'll be only that contrast. You can't change it when you develop your paper. And then multi-grade means that it will change depending on the light. If you give it, the contrast goes in the filters. So you filter with your color head. I just opened the PDF for Ilford, for example, to see if they have the grade. No, they don't have multi-grade. Okay, multi-grade filter. Filters, Ilford. PDF. Okay, let's see if I can find contrast control. Okay, and then when you're using multi-grade, depending on the amount of either magenta or yellow you use, it will give you a different contrast. So the paper has all those contrasts in it basically, and you give it the exact contrast with the light you give it. Like, I'm probably explaining this terrible. Okay, so here it says multi-grade, okay? Let's say you have a Durst enlarger. And if you want to do filter 00, which is minimum contrast, it's very low contrast. It's basically just shades of white and very slight gray. You would have to dial in 120 yellow, 0 magenta, and that would be a 00 fiber multi-grade filter on your color enlarger. If you want a grade 3, you will dial 24 yellow and 42 magenta. If you dial 5, which is extreme contrast, it's basically black or white, you get 0 yellow and all magenta, 130. So that's the difference between multi-grade and graded paper. You give it the grade with the light, and in the graded paper, the grade is on the paper and it can't be developed any other way. You're supposed to be using white light. So that's how it works. They have different times. This is a PDF I found on ilford.com. I wrote down, just so you guys know, multigrade filters Ilford PDF on Google. It was the first, result. So yeah, that's what I would say you have to do there. So that's the difference. What you can manipulate is the contrast. You can do split grade, which means you do a test print at 00, and then you do it at 5, and you with the 00 you find the highlights, and the 5 you find the blacks. So you kind of do that. You can split grade with color head too. Yeah, you do that. You first do a 00. There's a good article by someone, let me see if I find it. Split grade enlarger. A friend of mine sent it to me. Lens McLean, here it is. Okay, if you write down on Google split grade enlarger, in mine, third result is Les McLean photography, and it's a great article explaining how to do it. Basically, you do a test strip with 00 or grade 0 for soft test strip, and it's for highlights. And then you do the hard test strip, which is grade 5. And that will give you like the black. So that's how you do it. It's a very easy, it's like a 1-page article, and you can pretty much understand it. That's how I kind of learned it. Then he says, number 3, how much degrading in terms of sharpness in the print can unused enlarger sitting for 30 years get? How much different does a new enlarger lens do? I'll answer that right now. Let me see. Evian says advantages of the Pentax. Evian is the guy I told you that lost all his camera gear on a flight with Tunisian Air. They made him check his cameras, and someone in the luggage control, whatever, took him away. So he's trying to find a Pentax. He says advantages on the Pentax 6.7 II over the 6x7 mirror lockup version. And what ballpark should I look at price-wise for 90 2.8 or 105 2.4? I know I can just Google these, but hey, I mean, Googling is always good, but you can never, like, sometimes you won't find the differences or prices change. Maybe you find an article from 2 years ago and today it's changed. Pentax cameras have been going up in price a lot. I'll start with the first question is the advantages. Sí, soy el hermano. Someone's asking me. My sister's Tanya. She is a TV broadcast. Advantages of the 6.7 over the 6x7. The 6.7 II basically is a more modern camera. It has all the benefits of the modern cameras. It has the built-in like TTL meter, which has center weighted. It has spot or the whole like screen. It has like the little digital count. It has it detects the film. It tells you to advance. It has more speeds. It has a few things that are good, but it also has a lot more electronics. Mine got broken, so I had to fix it twice, and it still breaks. And the 6x7 MLU are much older, are way more simple. They still have the 1/30th of flash sync. They still are heavy. The 6x7 II has the grip on the right side, which is comfortable, but it doesn't kill you to not have it. They both pretty much load the same. They shoot the same. Focusing is the same. Batteries are bigger and different on the 6.7 II. It takes two. Apart from that, I would say it has the on-off, which it doesn't have on the old version. It has a lock. That's about it. And so yeah, in my honest opinion, between the offers you got for the 6.7 II, which he wrote to me through Facebook, and the 6x7 MLU, I would go with the 6x7. I'd rather have more lenses, and if the body breaks, not miss all those new techie things, because the 6x7 II are going for around $1 grand, $1,000 US or euros, either way. And the 6x7 can be bought for like $200 to $300, just the body. So for the same price, you can get a full 6x7 MLU with all the lenses that you want, and still have money for film. And the price wise for the 90, 2.8 or 105, I say if you find a good deal, you pay 150 euros or dollars for either or the 90 or 105. And if you are not lucky, you'll pay more, like in the 300, depending on versions. It's the same exact version between the 105, the old version, and the new version. The difference is just the outside. So I like the old version. It works good enough. If it's a little yellow, you can just put it under a UV light and it'll work. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need. Apart from that, give me a sec. Let me check something. I'll go back to Svein's question, which was saying about the sharpness on an old lens or a new lens. In the larger lenses, basically, the multi-coating is really important. Depending on how old it is, if it has mold or if it's lost any kind of like coating or anything like that, I highly recommend you get a newer lens. They don't go for a lot. You're welcome, Evian, and we'll talk in a week. He's going to come over to visit. So yeah, if you can go for a newer lens, go for a Rodenstock or Schneider. The ones that finish on, so Companon, or I don't know which ones are for there's Companon, Rodenon, and other ones are pretty much all pretty good. The really, really good ones are for huge prints, so I wouldn't go crazy on that unless you really want to print big. But yeah, they're like 50 to 80 to $100 a lens, so I wouldn't think it's that much. How big a difference in sharpness does the larger lens do, Rodenstock versus Miopta? that's what I just basically told you. I mean, the newer the lens, probably the sharper it is. And if you're printing color, the more you won't get like color cast or anything like that. So I think it does make a bit of work. Also, there's like a sweet spot on your larger lenses. So don't print at the maximum aperture or the minimum either. Usually I go 2 clicks down. So if it's a 2.8, I'll go 5.6, I mean 2.84, 5.6 or 8. And if it's maybe an F8, I'll just click it twice too. So that's what I do. Have I done masking of negatives? I've never done masks for negatives. I have made masks for my prints. So depending on how much I had to dodge or burn, I've cut out little pieces of paper or cardboard or gaffer's tape and used it to dodge and burn in the enlarger. So yeah. That's the questions he had. He's been doing some printing in the darkroom, and we had a little chat the other day. My thoughts, Marlon asks, which also just grabbed a Pentax. I was actually talking to Evian when Marlon was asking me about his Pentax. My thought on Colt point-and-shoot film cameras. Well, what happens with point-and-shoot cameras is that they're all very electronic. They have autofocus, usually auto DX. They have exposure compensation, usually on a dial. There's a lot of electronics in them. And auto advance and all these easy things. Point-and-shoot cameras were made to just point-and-shoot. You put your film, you would go out and shoot. The problem is all those things are getting to be around 20 years old. I mean, think about when was the last point and shoot made, and I think it's probably the Contax T3, the Nikon 35 Ti, and cameras like that are already between, I'd say maybe 15 at the least and 20 to 25 years old. And all these electronic cameras have no spare parts from the manufacturers. Some of them have closed, and the ones that haven't closed won't repair. And my opinion is they're great cameras, but they will break one day. I know the Nico break, and once they break, they're trash. I know the Contax will, like the little engine, like motor, will also fail. Unless you get a donor, you're still going to be able to break, and maybe you won't be able to fix them. And as you're asking, do they still repair the Contax T2 in 2017? I would say if you have two, they'll make one. I don't think out of one, they'll fix it and make you a user one. The electronics, as I said, can get corroded or they can just fail. So my point of view with a Colt point and shoot, I've had the T3, I've had the Natura Classica, the 1.9, and I've loved it, but I sold them all because I was always scared they would break. And now I have an Olympus MJU, which I bought for 15 bucks, which is I think the normal price on Craigslist, eBay, and if you get a good deal, not the 200 that some people are paying nowadays. And that's what I use when I want to do point and shoot. If not, I have Olympus XA2 and XA4 and a normal XA somewhere, and those are also fun. So yeah, I like them, but I wouldn't, how do you say, I don't trust their life. Mr. Analog Dad, that's a good name. That's what I should be called too. Do you think the Rollei 2.8F is worth the extra money for an extra stop rather than the 3.5F? I've had the 2.8F. I haven't had the 3.5. I do know that they're both extremely good. And honestly, with my kind of style of shooting, I don't think you need the 2.8. It's very pretty. I like that. Those big lenses are nice. But it's I don't know how much more it is nowadays, but it's almost double the price. And I don't think it's worth having to pay double the price for just, you know, that stop of light. If you're going to be shooting a lot of low light and you want to see it really well and you want, you know, that 2.8F thing, but you can get the 3.5 and love it. I have a few friends that own it and do great work with it. I think 3.5 is more than enough on medium format. If you think about it, Hasselblad lenses, there's the 80 2.8 on the V series, and then everything else is either f4, f4.5, and they're still very usable. And on the Rollei SL66, there's an 80 2.8, and then there's the 80 f4, and it's also very usable and very good. So I don't think you should have to pay. And if not, get the 3.5, use it for a year, and if you really enjoy it, sell it. If you don't like it so much, sell it and try the 2.8. But I've had the 2.8F, I've had the 2.8E, E3 or E2, I never remember Rolleiflex numbers, and I never liked them. I'm not kind of a TLR kind of guy, so I sold them. And nowadays I want to try to see if I get a Yashica mat, just because I think it's fun to have a TLR, but I don't want to spend more than like 300 euros on one. And I'll try to get a Yashica. They're not as sharp, and I find it a little bit softer, the lens, but I mean, it works good enough. I shot a Yashica, I can't remember, a Yashica matte without the 124, and it worked great. And I thought it was a lot of fun, and I'll probably get something like that. I don't think it's worth spending $1,000 on a 2.8F or $600 to $700 on a 3.5F. I usually talk in European prices, and the 2.8F is around 1,000 to 1,500 depending on condition. The 3.F is from 700 to like 900 depending on condition. I know in the US they go up a little bit more. I've seen them to like 2.5 grand for a 2.8F. Svein sent me the email from Kickstarter, New 55. They suspend the campaign because of the pod. They won't have enough quantity to fulfill the rewards. Kickstarter rules are clear about our needs, so they have to basically cancel it. That's a problem. So yeah. Okay, well basically what they're kind of saying is they can't go for it, and they'll be continuing with the other products, the Atomics X, the One Shot Ready Loaded, the Motobath, and other products that they might do. They thank everyone. It's a long email. But yeah, I guess we'll read into it and see what comes out of that. Hopefully we'll have something. Marlon says, when buying a Pentax 6x7 non-mirror lock-up, what do we need to look at in order to make a good deal? Marlon, I made a video called like the cheapest Pentax to buy, which is kind of like clickbait, but it's not, because it's true. And it's all about how the 6x7 non-mirror lockup is just as good as the normal mirror lockup. The difference is just you can click it and your mirror will slap up and you can shoot. But I talked to someone that used it a lot, and he said that he uses the non-mirror lockup, and he has a ton of work in the night, and he covers the lens. He just shoots with his cable release, takes off his hand, exposes, and then puts his hand back on. So it's not that hard. I mean, I honestly, what do you have to check? The same as a normal Pentax. Check that the speeds are okay. Check that there's no corrosion on the battery. Check that the curtain is fine. Check that the advance goes smooth. Do you remember when you're shooting like these big cameras? Sorry that I bring this out again. Is when you advance, help it go forward and help it go back. Like, don't just let go and let it slam back. That will help your advance last longer. And that's basically what I would check. Check that the frame counter works. Check that the wheel for the speeds is okay. Sometimes they tend to get loose. Check that the 120, 220 has a little bit tension. That little how do you say? Little clicky thing that you put a coin in and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I would check. There's not much to check between one or the other. The only difference is just the mirror lockup, which I don't think is so important. Sorry I missed someone's comment. Charmander says he lost his Nikon camera in a flight from New York to London. If you see it, let me know. I mean, I don't know what Nikon camera, what model. Maybe the best thing you can do is give the serial numbers online, and people can help you if they find it. But yeah, it can't be nice to lose anything on a flight. I've never lost anything, so I feel pretty lucky with that. I use a Pelican case when I travel, and I lock it with locks, even though they're TSA locks and they can open them and stuff like that. But it makes it a little bit harder just to like open. But yeah, I'm going this summer to the States, and I don't want to have to check my cameras, so I will take that again. Good thing is the size is just the airplane size, so you can fit it just overhead, and they usually don't tell you much about it. So yeah, no new 55 new stuff. Well, I guess we'll have to continue buying what they have and see what happens in the future. Well, thanks Spain for sending me this. I'll see if I feature it next week on the news. Apart from that, I've been building the studio. You guys saw the video I posted last week on the studio. I've been working on it. I was talking today about electricity and plumbing. I'll have it ready, I hope, like in around 2 to 3 weeks, and I'll do a little tour of it. I might do a live stream from there, so you guys can check it out and see how it's going. But yeah, it's sad that New 55 is going like it's going. I talked to them the day they actually got the news, and they were pretty beat up, but they're just having a hard time. You really want to try Peel Apart? Well, you can still buy their product. I mean, if you go online to New 55, they're still selling New 55 film, so I recommend you try it out. It won't be the improved version, but you can try it out. Thien says, it's my first summer shooting film in the US. Do I need to look out for something with a high temperature? Thien, I would say just normal requirements, just like you would with your phone or anything like that. Just don't leave it in the car during the sun. Buy a cooler and don't put ice in it. Don't put like anything crazy. Just keep it in a cooler so it won't hit, like blast the heat into the film. Don't leave it on like, glove compartment in the car during the day, and just have fun. I mean, I travel to Miami every summer and it's really warm and my film's fine. There is AC in the house. One thing that I have to say is a problem is when you walk out from a house with AC and controlled humidity and you walk outside, at least in Miami, everything fogs up. Your lens, I'm sure your film fogs up. I think everything fogs up. So give it a good 5 to 10 minutes for it to like keep its temperature. Some people put it like in the Ziploc, seal it before they go in, and then they go out, and it kind of helps. But I don't think that really would help. I would have to try it to see if it really would do anything. So yeah, high temperature. I always think about when film was the only option. If you think about it, like when National Geographic people would go to Africa and stuff like that, they would take hundreds of rolls on these trips and shoot film everywhere and keep it however, and those pictures looked like they always pretty much came out. So I think nowadays with AC being pretty much everywhere and cars having it and Ziploc bags and fridge bags and all these things, I think you'd be fine walking around with your film, shooting film in the States. Can I ask where you're going to be? Because I'm going to be going to Miami and probably San Francisco. It'd be fun to do a little meetup. I want to see if I can get something arranged, but I still have no dates, so I haven't really said much. Just kind of like have a beer and talk camera stuff. I had a workshop. You're in Seattle. Oh, well, close enough, but not close. I had a workshop on Sunday, and I spent 12 hours at the workshop. And it was so much fun. People had a great time. They got to shoot medium format for the first time, develop medium format, load the films, reels, and they had a blast. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, if you ever guys want to go to a workshop, go for it. It's really fun to talk and enjoy new things. I've done large format and medium format, and they're fun. So yeah, new 55. Looks like it's in stock. So you can try it out. Have you ever tried one of those films, film blind test on YouTube? There's one with 9 to 10 black and white ISO 400 film. I did the test for real and wrote my score down. My top score was Rolly. Oh yeah, I did do. There's a website where you can supposedly choose what are your favorite things on film by pictures, and it's like a film date, and it will tell you what's your favorite. I can kind of tell which film is which, so I kind of like, I guess I go for what I know I like, and I know what's going to end up being the result. But yeah, I think I got like Tri-X as my choice for film. I don't remember what it was. It was like film date app, something like that. Film born, I don't know. I can't remember right now. No, those are not the words I want to use. But yeah. Also, I'm gonna see if I can get a Fuji GW690 because I miss having a rangefinder medium format, and I can shoot and show you guys about it. I used to have one back in the day and I really liked it, but then I never used it a lot. But I think it's time to get another one. A Fuji like I was thinking today, I asked a few friends about what would be the cheapest medium format camera that's modern, okay? And it's not 6x4.5. It's not that I don't like the format, but I just kind of like 6x7, 6x6, or 6x8 or 6x9 better. And you have the Plowbill Machina, which is not cheap. And you have the Mamiya 7, which is not cheap. You have the Mamiya 6, which is not cheap. You have the Omega Rapid, which is cheap, and it's a 6x7, and it has interchangeable lenses and backs. But it just looks like someone put together all the parts of different cameras and made a camera. And I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's kind of clunky and weird. But one day maybe I'll try it out. And then the other option is the Fuji GF670, which is not cheap. And then it's the Fuji GW670, 680, and 690. They're mechanical cameras. There's no electronics, no battery, no light meter. They are really easy to shoot. They're non-changeable lenses, so you're stuck to whatever lens you have. They came out with two versions, the wide and the normal. The normal in the 6x9 would have a 90 and a 65 as a wide. And they're cheap. I mean, in Japan there are plenty of them, and you can buy them for like $500. And the second version, that's the third version, which is the most modern. The second version you can buy like for $300 shipped. So yeah, something like that is something I want to try out and shoot some 6x9. I might use that all summer, 6x9 or 6x7 on a Fuji, and see how that goes. What are you guys planning on taking on your summer trips? Do you take a lot of cameras? Do you take one camera? Do you take two cameras? Do you take like 6 cameras? Do you like shooting something new, or you go for that camera you use all the time? What is it you usually use when you travel? I usually take my M2 most of the times, but this year I might just take that Fuji if I get one. I know a lot of people like traveling with at least more than one. I have a friend that's traveling to London and he's taking 2 Canon bodies, film bodies, and a Hasselblad, and I think that's just overkill. I went to London and I only took the travel wide with me, and it was fun, and it was already too big. But yeah, maybe a point and shoot, something like that would be fun to take. Something like a Olympus XA, this is the XA2 that you can put in your pocket. I mean, I travel with kids, so that has to be part of you know, the kids' suitcase and jumping up and down and everything. Fun little cameras. They fit in your pocket. They're really small, and they're decent. But yeah, some people travel with a lot. I try not to. And then this summer I'm taking my video gear to try to keep on making videos during the summer. I'll try to keep on doing the news and all that stuff, and that adds a lot of space. I love the sound of those the old flashes. But yeah, any other questions you guys have, or you want to talk about the trip, traveling cameras, let me know. I don't even know what film's in here. I'm guessing Ilford HP5. I got an XA4 because it's the only one you could push to 1600. This one you can only push to 800, as you can see. And I like pushing all my 35 to 1600, just because it's easier to remember when I develop. And also I like moving a lot, and my kids jump up and down, and I need something that I can freeze action wherever I am, and when I go inside I don't have to go crazy thinking about exposures and whatnot. So yeah, this is the camera I got. I got this for free from a friend, and then I got the XA4 to shoot the 28 and 1600. I should make a video on that 1600 and the Olympus XA4. It has like a macro which basically focuses like at the length of the strap, and it's pretty good. So yeah, as always, remember that Wednesdays I go online and you can ask me anything you want. We talked about different prints, New 55 canceling their Kickstarter because they basically had a problem with their pods. Oh look, here is the email is here on the Kickstarter as an update. New 55 film halts this Kickstarter campaign, which is sad. We'll see what happens with that. Also, we have the Rolly new slide film is already gone on sale. There's the new Zorky. Are you guys willing to try that Zorky film? Zorky blog, zorkyphoto.co.uk. ISO 100 at 4 pounds by a European film and a producer. I bet it has to be FOMA, FOMA Pan 100. Being an ISO 100 made in Europe and being pretty affordable, traditional black and white. I mean, who makes black and white film in Europe is Rolly, Agfa, Ferrania has their P30 FOMA Pan. I don't know, there's a few, but no Kodak, no Fuji. So we would have to I think it's FOMA Pan. And if it's cheap, we'll see. I've tried FOMA Pan a lot on 4x5 and it works really well. But yeah, any questions you guys have, remember you can ask anything you want. And if not, we'll be talking about whatever I see that people ask me. You're gonna order, Dan is gonna order a couple of rolls. Dan's from the Netherlands. I think I should try it out just to support, but this whole like rebranded films at the end, I mean, I don't know if I'm a big fan of it. Just because you think about it, I mean, why not just give the money to the proper manufacturer? If FOMA Pan, I wonder how much FOMA, wait, let me check it out. Macro Direct. Let me check the difference in pricing. If it really is a FOMA Pan 100, which I'm not sure, but I would say it is. Have you ever tried any of the wide angle lenses for the RZ? Yeah, on the RZ 6x7, I used to have the 65, the normal one, not the floating element. And I used to have the 50, also the normal one, not the ULD, which is like the floating element too. And out of those two, my favorite by far was the 65. I have, let me see, I think I have a few pictures on Flickr done with that. Yeah, but yeah, the wides are really good. I also have the 75 shift for that. And it actually works really well. I also should make a video on it so you guys could see what you can do. Yeah, I have something on PhotoStream. I have something on Flickr, but I haven't tagged it. so I maybe should try to see if I find it. But yeah, the wide lenses are great. I've also wanted to try the 37 wide angle, like the fisheye. A photo teacher says, as someone hasn't printed fiber-based paper in a long time, what's your wash cycle like to get the best final print? I have a archival print washer, a vertical one where the little bubbles come up and wash your print. And what I do that I found worked best is first I have, after the fixer, I have like a bath on a tray. So I keep it in that tray with a little bit of running water, just, you know, a little hose in it. I keep it like moving in there for like 5 to 10 minutes. And after that, I give it an hour on the archival print washer at full blast. So that's what I've found that works the best to wash your prints. I know you can use like tray and can constantly move it and stuff and change it, but I don't have usually the time. So I usually just put it in the print washer and walk away and leave it for an hour. Las Bodegas, is there a good local photo store for buying and developing film in España? Maybe near Madrid. Best store in Spain, price-wise and client-wise, like he's very serious, is fotocarrete.com, and the best lab I know in Spain is Interfoto, Interphoto, and both in Madrid. Fotocarrete has an online store. It's on the outskirts of Madrid, and Interfoto is in Calle Cartagena 154. But they're very good, both of them. Dan Bloom says, what do you think about the waist level finders for 35 cameras? I recently got a Canon NUF F1 and thinking about maybe buying one. Dan, I had the Nikon F5 and I had the little viewfinder, the waist level, and it was fun to see, and it's fun to steal pictures like that, looking from the top on a, you know, SLR. But I found it totally useless. I never really used it. I never really did much with it. So I just never used it. I kind of like the whole normal prism in the end. It's not as fun or like cool, but it's just practical and it works really well. Spain says, de nada. Spain says, can I wash print in the shower if I hang it and point the shower head? I would say no. Basically what happens with the fiber base compared to the RC paper, the plastic base or resin base, is the paper is basically like tissue paper. It's like thick, like art paper. And that paper soaks in all the chemicals, but it soaks it on everywhere, from one side and the other. So if you put it in the shower and you hang it and you spray with water, you're just gonna kind of wash one side. The whole idea is the washes will, you know, move the water, and the water has to be moving so it will like clean the inside of the paper. That's why it takes so long. Also, if you guys are washing paper, remember there's the like a tester which you put a drop out of the frame, and if it turns a certain color, it means there's still fixer in it. There's also some hypo clean that will work to clean your prints a little faster, but I'm not a big fan of adding more chemicals to the paper. So yeah, you just Spain, just grab a tray, put it on the floor in the bathroom, inside the shower, put the shower on top and let it fill up and empty every now and then. Just go like every 5 minutes, just empty it all, fill it up again, empty it up and shake it, you know, slowly. That's why fiber base is something that I took a while to start doing, because it was just much harder to get decent results fast, especially the washing side. Trying to find those Mamiya RZ pictures, but yeah, I have shot with those and they're fun. I've actually shot some night shots with the 65, and if you keep it all very leveled, it actually turns out very straight lines. My favorite wide camera was the Hasselblad Super Wide, which I got rid of, but I shouldn't have. But yeah, I have a bunch of shots with Contax G2, which I should try to make a video on. I found the Contax G2 to be a very fun camera. I don't know if it's somewhere around here, but it's very fun. Nando says, I always used RC paper cause it's easier to work with, so I'm curious comparison, what are the pros of fiber-based paper? Yeah, Austin, I'm not finding my shots. They're somewhere in my Flickr. If you go through my Flickr, you'll just like find them somewhere. I don't think I tagged them. So what's the benefits between RC paper and fiber-based? Like, what's the difference? I found the RC paper to be a bit more plasticky. Don't worry for the bad English, Nando. I'm Spanish, so my English is also not the best. The RC paper has that plastic feel, the weight and the touch, it feels worse. I feel that the depth of the images, the blacks, the tones, like the gradients from like dark black to white are less appealing. I basically printed some pictures when I started in RC paper and then in fiber based and put one next to the other, and the difference was huge in my eye, and that I'm not a professional photographer, I don't make a living out of this, and I just shoot for fun. But yeah, that made me decide not to use RC paper again, only for like fun, you know, prints that I give to family or contact prints or just kind of fooling around in the darkroom. That's what I use. But I haven't bought more RC paper ever since I used the fiber-based. Still looking for that picture. I have the Contax T3. I have pictures of the cameras I've sold. It's kind of sad. But yeah, that's what I recommend. I mean, RC it is easier to handle, and if you can't wash properly or you can't afford it, don't go for the fiber-based, at least at the beginning. Try to wait as much as you can and learn how to dodge and burn on the RC paper, which is cheap. You can learn how to, like, you know, do all of that there, and then just take all that learning to fiber-based, and you'll save a lot of money. Let's see. Oh, here's some wide shot. I think I have like 2 wide shots. Let me see. I can tell you how to find them. And here are the night shots. Oh, this one came out good. Yeah. Yeah, if you go to my pictures on Flickr, which I'm Nicolas Yacera there, I tagged it as Mamiya RZ 6x7. Let me see if I can add it to an album. There you go. I added it to the Mamiya RZ Pro 2 album. And I'm gonna add a few more. There's another one here. These I think are with the 50 Austin. Yeah, I actually even tagged the lens. I guess I was good at that back in the day. And then I have a night one here. It says it's the Pentax. Okay, so that's the Pentax. But yeah, go to my Flickr. It's Nicolas Yacera without the H, just Nicolas Yacera on Flickr. I'm not very original with my names, but you can check it out. This is a Pentax shot, so no, that wouldn't be it. I actually did some night shots and they came out. I've never been good at night pictures. But yeah, I recommend, to me, the best wide angle either on the Hasselblad and the Mamiya have been the 65. I don't know why. I don't like the extreme wide. I like the medium wide. And I loved it. I really like that 65. And I'm trying to get another one at some point. I sold it and I will try to get them again. I should do a video on where I find my resources for buying. Because being in Europe is so different to being in the States, and a lot of people are in the States. But for those of us that are stuck around Europe, prices and availability is not so big. But there's some good stores. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, let me know, because it's almost, well, it's 10 o'clock, but I started late. So if you guys want to ask something, I'll stay for a little bit longer. As always, remember that Wednesdays at 9 o'clock Spanish time, I go online for an hour and just talk as much as I can about cameras, basically. So yeah, let me see system. I'm looking to see for a 65. I shouldn't be looking, but I'm just looking out of curiosity for. It's just I had the 65 normal, and if I was gonna try, maybe I would like to try the 65, the LA version, which is the floating one. They have the normal 65 on the store I usually buy, which is cameratori.fi or .com. It's in Finland. I know Juho, the owner, did the whole campaign for Save Analog Photography and the Future of Film. Really nice guy, really committed to the whole film life. And I like seeing people that are committed, not just cashing in all day. So that's why I try to buy at his store. He's got decently priced gear in Europe. The 65 for the Mamiya is 220 euros, which is not that bad. It does look well used though. I'm also not so concerned, I don't know you guys, but I'm not a picky guy about gear. I don't mind if they're used, because at the end I'm going to use it. I'm not going to put it on a shelf. But I just try to be careful that they're not beat up. But yeah, the 65 looks like it's seen better days. Maybe one day I'll get it again and test it out. What did I say the store was? It's Cameratori. It's spelled KAMERATORI.com. If not, you can go to Camera Ventures, and it's him and a group of other stores in Europe that have pretty good prices too. Let me see if I can find in their website more lenses for the Mamiya RZ system. Someone in the workshop said like, oh, the Mamiya RZ is so big and whatnot, but Mamiya really made, to me, some of the most interesting cameras and solutions for shooting. Okay, but I want lenses. Oh, here, I have to click lenses. Okay, Mamiya. Manufacturer. They usually list everything by lens, bodies, all separate. So if you want to make a kit, you have to go one by one buying them. But they're very well priced, and I like seeing well priced items in Europe. They have a 150 I want to get too for 190 euros. Not everything is like cheap, but they're pretty good, decent enough. 50. The 50 for the Mamiya RZ is 299, which is not that bad either. I remember buying them years ago for so little. I should have never gotten rid of them. The 180 is pretty affordable. 50 again, 299. 150, but that's not the one I want. But yeah, I recommend you guys check this store. They have a good listings and prices and descriptions and pictures. They're pretty good. Sometimes their descriptions are in Finnish, so you can write them an email and ask. I usually just check it by what I see. But yeah, no 65 here, which is interesting. I thought they would have it. System, Mamiya, RZ. Mamiya, RZ. So yeah, well, I'm gonna cut it here. Thanks again, guys, for joining and asking questions. As always, you can always get me on social media, email, Facebook. Oh, I made a Facebook page, which Facebook doesn't like. promoting pages for free, so it makes you like pay to promote. But if you want to search for it, it's Nico's with the little apostrophe photography show, and there I kind of post about my workshops. I'll be posting the news and the videos there too. I have to also try to get back on the website and write more articles. But yeah, trying to get like a bit more of a community around there. See if people like start, asking questions through there too sometimes. If I don't answer your emails, it's because I'm busy, but I'll get back to you on the live stream like today. So yeah, thanks for joining and watching, and we'll see each other in next week. Bye.